You know what? I don't get I don't get how, but somehow every single year we collapse. It doesn't matter. Like every year since the Saints won their Super Bowl, we have always found incredible ways to lose in the playoffs. So what is up, guys? Suda the Savage back, and you already know if I'm making a video about the Saints, like an individual video, you already know that's not a good thing. I don't really talk about their wins because I would just go on gush and gush and just like I wouldn't take it seriously. That's why I talk about losses like this, because this I take seriously. And we just lost in the wild card round, and we are going home. Once again, we are going to watch the Super Bowl from our couches, and yeah. So let's get this video started. So now I'm gonna do my general recap of the game, or recap. I don't care how you say it, but to start it off, our defense showed that we have a chance to. We had a decent start. So the Vikings, they get first ball, and immediately we force a turnover. We make Adam Thielen fumble the ball. We get that recovery. And sadly, we were unable to get the touchdown, but we were just able to get a field goal. So sadly, not the way I would have wanted to start it, but you know what? I'll take a 3-0 lead. Then they go down. Then the Vikings, they drive down the field, and they tie the game. So immediately, I'm not feeling too good. But eventually, our team goes on a huge drive. Taysom Hill goes in and launches a ball out, and we go into the red zone. It was a 50-yard pass from Taysom Hill to Deontay Harris. Go into the red zone, Kamara immediately scores, and then it kind of went all downhill from there. So the next time they get the ball, we stop them short on the goal line. We make them kick a field goal. So we're showing that our defense is putting up a good fight, but they are also doing something as well. But then, second quarter, Drew Brees goes on to throw a pick late in the second. So the Vikings get the ball back, run out most of the clock, and Dalvin Cook gets the 5-yard touchdown, and then Dan Bailey gets the extra point. So 23 seconds left, and it's 13-10. So this time, then Deontay Harris shows how talented he was. He takes the Saints down a little bit past midfield, showing that we have a chance to go into halftime tied. And so, we get into field goal range, and then Will Lutz, the guy is absolute money, missed the field goal. So, as soon as he missed it, I wasn't happy at all, because this guy's money, and I wanted to go into it tied, but look, we get the ball first, let's just take the lead and hold them on defense. We couldn't even do that. Because third quarter, our offense just went completely silent. The whole game, our offense was just silent. Dalvin Cook would eventually go in for a 1-yard touchdown, and then they would be up by 10. And so already we're in trouble. So the next thing that happens is it takes us a while for our offense to do something. But late in the fourth quarter, I'm not sure, kind of like mid-fourth quarter, Drew Brees to Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill literally carried our team. Okay, if Taysom Hill's carrying our team, that's not a recipe for success. That's a recipe for another heartbreak. So Taysom Hill gets a touchdown. It's 20-17, and let's see. So we stop the Vikings on defense, and then the Saints get the ball back. We get into red zone, and Brees fumbled the ball, but the Vikings D-line made an amazing play that time. So it wasn't a good feeling. So then the Vikings get the ball back. We force a fumble and run it into the end zone for a touchdown. But this was not they go to replay, and turns out Dalvin Cook's knee was down, so it was a dead ball. He was down by contact. I wasn't happy about it, but it was the right call. The refs didn't screw us over on this one. It was a fair call. But here's what happened on that play. So I was jumping up and down. I was ecstatic. I was super happy that we just got the lead. But then I was super excited, but then I just said, okay, what's the call? Because I knew immediately they would review this one, and I honestly didn't have the greatest feeling that this would stand. But, we stop the Vikings, we get the ball back, Will Lutz kicks the game-time field goal, and we go into overtime. And, the Vikings immediately get the football, they win the coin toss, they go down the field, and they go to win the game. Kirk Cousins, the big play was like a 40-yard pass to Adam Thielen, which put them immediately in the red zone. Now, we stopped them twice on the goal line. I had a good feeling, but then third and goal, Kirk Cousins throws the game-winning touchdown to Kyle Rudolph. If you saw on my Snapchat story, I was fighting back tears. I was about to cry. Just putting out that statement, it was such a painful thing to do, but somehow, like I said, every year we find a more painful way to lose since the Super Bowl. So I'll go back in the history. So we win it in 2009 season. So 2010, we are a wild card team going up against the 7-9 Seahawks in the playoffs, and how we lost that one was the heartbreak of beast mode. A year later, we make it into the playoffs. We are a wild card team. We beat the Lions at home. We go on the road to San Francisco. We had an epic game. We go up by 3 with just about 2 minutes to go, and our defense completely collapsed. And with about 10 seconds left, the 49ers, they took the lead, and they won the game. And you go to 2013. We were a wild card team. We won on the road against the Philadelphia Eagles. And we go to Seattle. And this time, what happened was we tried like a little lateral play, but we're on the Seahawks 40, and Marquise Colson, he has the ball, and instead of stepping out of bounds, he tries a lateral, but it was a forward pass. And this was with less than 10 seconds to go, so that was a penalty. We got flagged for that play for an illegal forward pass, and there was also a 10-second runoff. Heartbreaking. 2017, you already know, it's the Minneapolis Miracle. Yeah, I don't want to talk about that. 2018, no call. But this year, it was a mix of our player, referees, and the league itself. Maybe the most heartbreaking way to go out. And this too was at home, so yeah. So today, so right now I'm going to go over just some general stats from players. Starting out with Drew Brees, he had 208 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. So he had an okay game, but the one thing that was horrible for us was our O-line. Giving up, like, the thing is, you pressure Brees, you crack the guy. Like, literally, that's how we lost. Like, literally, Brees, most of the time, just didn't have any support. That's what caused our offense to go so flat. Alvin Kamara and Latavius Murray both combined for 42 rushing yards. Each of them had 21. You know, Alvin Kamara was supposed to be this new electrifying running back. He was not. He was silent today. Latavius Murray, also silented. Taysom Hill had 4 carries for 50 yards. He did it all. He also had 50 passing yards. He did also have 25 receiving yards and a touchdown. So literally, Taysom Hill was carrying the team. And I always kept saying, can't guard Mike. He had 7 receptions and 70 yards. So the expectations were set high for him, and he faltered. But anyways, the Vikings, like, I could pull out every excuse in the book, but the reality is, the Vikings played a better game. Starting with man Kirk Cousins. As much shit as I love to give him, he did well today. 242 yards, a touchdown, and no picks. He was clutch today. Made all the passes when it really mattered. We weren't there. Dalvin Cook rushes for 94 yards and 2 touchdowns. And then Adam Thielen somehow got the 2 biggest plays for the Vikings that day. That's what set them up for 14 points. He had 7 receptions, 129 yards. And this was after we forced a fumble. He tightened up. He played better. And their defense just, well, if their defense holds Drew Brees to 208 yards, holds Alvin Kamara to 21, and has Michael Thomas for only 7 receptions for 70 yards, that is a recipe for success. You shut down one of the best offensive units in the league. Overall, we did not play a good game. And also, Sean Payton's clock management was just terrible. Like, it got to Andy Reid levels. Like, it wasn't as bad as Andy Reid, but at this point, you could start making comparisons. I seem mad. I'm a little less mad than I was probably about an hour ago, because an hour ago, I was about to cry. I went up to my room, basically locked myself in my room, and just laid there in contemplation. But Now I'm going to kind of rip into the officials for the final play of the game. So, what I didn't understand is that Kyle Rudolph got the game-winning touchdown, made a good play. However, there was a possibility that there was a push-off. Maybe there was a push-off, maybe there wasn't, but look, I think they said in overtime, you can't, referee, head coaches can't request for a review. Honestly, if they review like all scoring plays, I'm surprised that the league did not review a possible pass interference on Kyle Rudolph. So that didn't make me happy, knowing the fact that they didn't even care to look to see if the Saints still had life. And I'm also ripping into the NFL for their overtime rules. So if you, basically, once again, our season was decided by a coin toss. Vikings, they call heads, they get the coin toss, they get the ball first, they drive and win the game. But our defense also collapsed on that, so at the same time, we got screwed over, but we didn't exactly help ourselves. We needed to stop the Vikings and just give ourselves a chance to win the game. So at this point, we join the 2018 Kansas City Chiefs, the 2011 Pittsburgh Steelers, the 2014 Green Bay Packers, and the 2016 Atlanta Falcons for teams that didn't even get to touch the ball in overtime. And they lost because of that. They lost because the other team that received it would immediately go down the field and score. Now, 3 of these were from all these were defensive collapses. So, neither of these teams really earned to get the ball back, so... Oh my god. Like I said in the beginning, I don't get how, I don't get why, but we go lower each and every year. Now I'm concerned about the future. Is Breeze going to return? I don't know. He says there's a good chance he's not going to retire. I feel good about that. Probably going to resign him, but, I kept saying how great we were. Without Breeze, we've proved to be a great team. But today, we didn't really prove that at all. I don't get, but Minnesota loves to break my heart over and over again. Now, if you might remember, back in 2010, the start of a new decade, there were changes to overtime rules. How originally, before 2010, if you got the ball first in overtime, all you had to do was just kick a field goal and you win the game. Then they said, okay, you have to at least score a touchdown. But honestly, I want them to implement CFL or college football kind of rules, where both teams at least get the ball, unless it's a pick six or safety. Those are the only exceptions. That's what I want. Both teams should at least be able to touch the ball once. Somehow, every year I go lower. But, see this bracket? Nothing. It's dead. My bracket's been busted. Once again, maybe my Raptors bracket, it was just a fluke. Because, I got them to win. But, honestly, people are immediately saying, hop on my bandwagon, root for me. I'm not rooting for anyone. In general. Maybe I'll have some people that I favorite more, some teams I favorite more than others, but honestly, I'm just going to try to be a neutral observer. And that is going to wrap up my video for today. Thank you guys all so much for watching. This, once again, was made on such short notice, but I realized I had to make this video. If you like this video, click the like button, subscribe if you want to. If you want to see my failed prediction video, link will also be in the description below. Make sure to follow me on Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok at @SoTheSavage. Thank you all for watching. Who Dat Nation is out. I'll see you for my prop bets.